Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to share with you a poem I wrote about being grateful for having a job, even though I don't like the job that I have. The name of the poem is called To Have a Job. There is money in my wallet that I earned because my employer was good enough to employ me. What did the Lord have to do with it? Well, Satan could have successfully tempted me to get myself fired, or Satan could have tempted me to quit before securing a new and better job. Or Satan could have inspired my employer to fire me for no reason other than to arbitrarily exercise power and act belligerently. But the Lord has not allowed Satan to take his job away from me, to take this job away from me. And as a result, good things have happened. This job gives me money for food, shelter, and even a little more. It gives me money to watch movies on the internet. To some, this may seem but an insignificant thing. But watching a movie is one of my favorite things to do. It allows me to exercise my imagination. Some may argue that movies spoil what literature does for the imagination, but I think literature helps us concentrate solely on following and comprehending and appreciating a person's words, whereas movies give us access to a concretized dream in itself to follow, comprehend, and appreciate. Movies allow me to contemplate life and to experience life in motion that has been captured and preserved. Watching a movie makes me feel good and harms no one in the process. Yes, it is a luxury I have because I have this job and it pays me better than certain other jobs. Even though it also pays far less than certain other jobs, I get to earn and enjoy the blessing, the dignity, and the self-respect of earning. Some people depend on tax-funded financial assistance, temporarily or permanently, and do not get to enjoy the dignity and self-respect of earning. The Lord has graciously spared me from that unpleasantry. I confess, with all due respect to my generous employer, I do not love this job. In fact, I hate it. It does not fulfill me. I vehemently disagree with many of the employer's policies. Many of the policies contradict my moral principles. For example, I do not believe, as my employer does, that the customer is always right. Only the Lord is always right. To give a customer the Lord's status is wrong. They treat their customers as if each were God, and it encourages them to take advantage and become abusive. This has caused me to ask myself, to what extent will I allow myself to work for and thus support the efforts and wealth of those who act on principles I strongly disagree with? If my employer will listen to me, and respectfully consider my opinions, even somewhat, then, until the Lord blesses me with a job I prefer, I will remain. My job could be far worse, and praise the Lord, because it is not. It is money I can earn at a time when the economy is poor and it seems like it may get worse. So despite my dissatisfaction, I am a grateful man. I thank the Lord for the privilege of experiencing hope and desire for the job I prefer. Hope and desire are wonderful to experience. They connect us with the Lord and the profound, complex love that the Lord has for us by planting desires within us, giving us more spiritual, psychological, and economic depth. For I have learned to appreciate the meaning and the value of what I hope to get paid to produce, and what I faithfully believe I will get paid to produce. I've had so much time to meditate on how I hope my work will glorify the Lord's universe. Despite my job leaving me frustrated and unfulfilled, my coworkers and many of the customers are a pleasure to be around. We are blessed with the opportunity to speak with each other and enjoy conversations about all kinds of things. The disgraceful Obama administration, New Jersey's abusive governor Chris Christie, East Windsor's abusive mayor Janice Mironov, the Republican and Democratic candidates for New Jersey legislature who refused to debate my running mate and I, despite the fact that both of us are on the ballot just like them. The Lord, the power of words, miracles we have been blessed with, how we are growing spiritually, the past, humanity's many languages, movie recommendations and critiques, right and wrong from theology to etiquette to store policies, our ambitions, where we would rather be, and some are satisfied where they are. God bless their souls, and God bless the souls of we who seek other jobs. How horrible it would be to work with people who are closed to such talk, who are miserable, conniving, mean-spirited, insulting, discouraging, thieving, etc. Oh, thank God I have been spared of that. And the opportunity to produce in general, even though I would prefer to be productive in other ways, even though I would prefer getting paid for my ideas, at least I am contributing to the economy, providing a service, giving my employer and my customers something of use, as opposed to burdening the economy, producing nothing, yet still receiving and consuming something, as opposed to being idle. I have matured throughout the years I've worked this job. Yes, I confess, I used to be arrogant and shy, which was strange because I loved humanity. I loved people as such. And yet I disliked most individual people. I always saw what I believed to be their overwhelming, overbearing flaws, which I didn't want to be exposed to. How is it that this job has made me less arrogant and more social. I am convinced that it was divine intervention. The Lord wanted to change me and use me for something. Perhaps just to tell you this. It is at this job that the Lord grew especially persistent with me. Well before I could even imagine myself considering the idea of believing in a God. It was at this job that the Lord began inspiring me profoundly.